The internet doesn't just whisper anymore, it explodes. And right now, it's absolutely erupting over one question that no one can seem to answer, yet everyone is obsessively trying to decode. Are Zhao Lusi and Chen Zheyuan secretly heading toward marriage? It all started subtly, almost too quietly to notice. A few fans began pointing out what seemed like harmless coincidences. Similar schedules, overlapping locations, cryptic social media activity. At first, it felt like one of those routine fan theories that spark briefly and fade just as quickly. But this time, it didn't fade. It grew. It multiplied. It spread like wildfire across platforms, pulling in curious onlookers, hardcore fans, and even casual viewers who had barely followed the duo before. And the deeper people dug, the stranger things started to look. One of the earliest clues that set everything off was a series of photos that surfaced online, seemingly unrelated at first glance. Zhao Lusi was spotted at what appeared to be a quiet, elegant cafe, dressed simply but radiating her usual charm. Hours later, Chen Zheyuan posted an image from a location that fans quickly identified as being suspiciously similar. Same aesthetic. Same lighting. Same background details that were too specific to ignore. Coincidence? Maybe. But fans weren't convinced. Soon, digital detectives went into overdrive. Side-by-side comparisons flooded timelines. Zoomed-in screenshots highlighted tiny details. Reflections in glass, shadows on the wall, even the placement of furniture. The conclusion many began drawing wasn't just that they were in the same place, but that they were there together, possibly at the same time, choosing to keep things deliberately low-key. Then came the timestamps. In a world where everything is documented down to the second, fans noticed something peculiar. Their posts, though not identical, seemed carefully spaced. Not too close to raise immediate suspicion, but not too far apart either. It was almost as if someone was trying to maintain a balance between sharing and hiding. That delicate line only fueled the speculation further. And just when things couldn't get more intense, another layer was added to the mystery. A fan account uncovered what many are now calling one of the most convincing clues yet, a subtle piece of jewelry. Zhao Lusi was seen wearing a delicate ring during a recent appearance. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't heavily promoted, but it was there. Days later, Chen Zheyuan appeared in a separate video wearing a ring with a remarkably similar design. That was all it took. Suddenly, timelines were flooded with theories. Was it a couple ring? A promise ring? Or something even more serious? Fans began analyzing angles, lighting, and reflections just to confirm whether the rings were truly identical. Some even went as far as identifying possible brands and collections, trying to trace whether the pieces could have been purchased together. But the intrigue didn't stop there. There's also been a noticeable shift in how both stars have been interacting online, or rather, how they haven't been. For two individuals who once engaged more openly with fans and promotional content, there's been a recent air of quietness. Not complete silence, but a kind of restraint that fans are finding hard to ignore. Some believe this is intentional. A way to keep something significant under wraps. Others think it's simply a coincidence driven by busy schedules and unrelated personal decisions. But when multiple coincidences begin stacking up, people start asking questions. And the questions only got louder when fans revisited past interviews. Clips from older conversations began resurfacing, showing moments where Zhao Lusi and Chen Zheyuan shared undeniable chemistry. The way they looked at each other, the effortless laughter, the subtle comfort in their interactions. It all suddenly felt different when viewed through the lens of current rumors. Were those just professional moments between co-stars? Or were they glimpses of something deeper that no one noticed at the time? Adding even more fuel to the fire, fans started connecting the dots between their schedules. Despite working on separate projects, there have been surprising overlaps in their locations. Not exact matches every time, but enough to raise eyebrows. A city here. An event there. A pattern that doesn't fully align with coincidence, yet isn't solid enough to confirm anything outright. It's that uncertainty that's driving everyone wild. Because the truth is, no one has outright confirmed anything. There's no official statement. No direct acknowledgement. No public declaration of any romantic relationship, let alone marriage plans. And yet, the clues keep coming. One of the most talked about moments recently involved what fans are calling a near slip. During a live appearance, Zhao Lusi was asked a seemingly innocent question about her future plans. Her response was calm, composed, but there was a brief pause. A moment where she seemed to hesitate, as if choosing her words carefully. For most people, it might have gone unnoticed. But not for fans. That pause has since been replayed countless times, analyzed frame by frame, with viewers trying to decode whether it meant anything at all. Was it just a normal hesitation? Or was there something she almost revealed? Meanwhile, Chen Zheyuan hasn't made things any clearer. In fact, his recent appearances have only added to the mystery. Subtle changes in demeanor, a more reserved presence, and moments where he seems almost distracted. Again, nothing concrete. Nothing definitive. But enough to keep the speculation alive. And perhaps the most fascinating part of all this isn't just the possibility of a relationship. It's the idea of secrecy. Because if there is something happening between Zhao Lusi and Chen Zheyuan, it's being handled with an incredible level of privacy. In an industry where even the smallest detail can become headline news within minutes, maintaining this level of mystery is no small feat. It suggests intention. It suggests caution. It suggests that if there is something real behind all these clues, it's something they're not ready to share with the world just yet. But of course, that only makes people more curious. Because humans are naturally drawn to what they can't fully understand. Every new photo, every new post, every new appearance becomes another piece of the puzzle. Fans aren't just watching anymore, they're investigating. Connecting dots. Building timelines. Crafting theories that range from plausible to wildly imaginative. And somewhere in the middle of all that noise lies a question that refuses to go away. What if it's true? What if all these coincidences are actually carefully hidden confirmations? What if the reason nothing has been announced is because something bigger is being planned? The idea of a secret wedding, or even just a quietly developing relationship, is enough to send shockwaves through fan communities. It challenges everything people think they know while inviting them to look closer, think deeper, and question more. And right now, that's exactly what's happening. Because whether it's real or not, the story has taken on a life of its own. Every clue becomes a headline. Every rumor becomes a discussion. Every tiny detail becomes a potential breakthrough. And the line between speculation and reality grows thinner with each passing day. Even those who were initially skeptical are starting to wonder if there's more to this than meets the eye. Because sometimes, the most convincing stories aren't the ones that are loudly announced. They're the ones quietly hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice. And right now, it feels like the entire internet is watching, waiting, and trying to piece together a mystery that may, or may not, be leading to something far bigger than anyone expected. And just when it seemed like the frenzy might finally slow down, something even more unexpected happened. Fans started noticing patterns that didn't just feel coincidental anymore, they felt intentional. Because here's where things take a sharper turn. It's one thing to accidentally be in the same place. It's another to share similar items. But when behaviors begin to align in subtle, almost synchronized ways, that's when people stop calling it luck and start calling it a signal. Over the past few weeks, eagle-eyed followers have pointed out that both Zhao Lusi and Chen Zheyuan seem to be operating on what can only be described as a mirrored rhythm. Not identical schedules, not obvious overlaps, but a pattern of movement that feels strangely coordinated. For example, there were instances where Zhao Lusi would go completely silent on social media for a short period, and almost like clockwork, Chen Zheyuan would do the same. Then suddenly, both would reappear within hours of each other, posting unrelated content but at times that felt just a little too perfectly aligned. Fans began asking, why disappear at the same time? And even more importantly, where were they during those quiet gaps? That question alone sparked a new wave of investigation. Because in today's hyper-connected world, disappearing is almost louder than posting. Silence becomes suspicious. Absence becomes a clue. And that's exactly how fans treated it. Some began mapping out timelines, charting every post, every appearance, every known schedule. What they found didn't provide clear answers, but it raised even bigger questions. There were pockets of time, small, but noticeable, where both stars seemed to be completely off the radar. No events. No updates. No sightings. Just gone. And those gaps. They lined up more often than anyone expected. Then came what many are now calling the location puzzle. A travel blogger casually posted photos from a luxury resort. Nothing unusual, just scenic shots of a peaceful getaway. But hidden in the background of one image was a figure that fans quickly speculated could be Zhao Lusi. The resemblance wasn't crystal clear, but it was enough to ignite curiosity. Hours later, a completely separate post surfaced, this time from a different guest at the same resort. And in that post, fans noticed someone who looked strikingly similar to Chen Zheyuan. Now things were getting complicated. 2 separate posts. 2 different people. Same location. Same time frame. And neither Zhao Lusi nor Chen Zheyuan had mentioned being there. Suddenly, the idea of coincidence started to feel stretched. Because once is chance. Twice is suspicious. But repeated patterns. That's where things become hard to ignore. And yet, despite all this, there's still been no confirmation. No denial. Nothing that clearly points in either direction. Which only deepens the mystery. Because if there's nothing going on, why does everything seem to align so perfectly? But if there is something going on, how have they managed to keep it this quiet? That question becomes even more intriguing when you consider the level of attention both stars constantly receive. Every move is watched. Every detail is scrutinized. The idea that something as significant as a relationship, or even marriage plans, could be unfolding behind the scenes feels almost impossible. And yet, here we are. Still guessing. Still questioning. Still searching for answers that never seem to fully reveal themselves. But then, just when things couldn't get more intense, a new type of clue emerged. One that didn't rely on locations or timing, but on something far more subtle, symbolism. Fans began noticing recurring themes in their posts. Not direct references, not obvious hints, but small, almost poetic details that seemed to echo each other. A caption about new beginnings. A photo featuring a pair of matching objects. A background song with lyrics that hinted at commitment and forever. Individually, none of these meant much. But together, they started to feel like pieces of a hidden message. And that's when theories took a more emotional turn. Because now, it wasn't just about whether Zhao Lusi and Chen Zheyuan were spending time together. It became about what they might be trying to say, without actually saying it. Were these posts intentional? Were they quietly sharing something with those paying close enough attention? Or were fans simply connecting dots that were never meant to be connected? That uncertainty is what keeps pulling people deeper into the story. Because every answer seems to lead to more questions. And every new detail feels like it could be the one that finally changes everything. One particularly fascinating theory that's been circulating suggests that if there is indeed something serious happening between the two, it might not follow the typical path people expect. Instead of a public announcement, a dramatic reveal, or a carefully staged confirmation, it could be something far more understated. Something quiet. Something private. Something that doesn't rely on headlines to be real. And if that's the case, then all these clues might not be accidental at all. They might be the only glimpses the public is ever meant to see. Just enough to spark curiosity. Just enough to keep people wondering. But never enough to fully confirm the truth. That possibility adds a whole new layer to the mystery. Because now, it's not just about uncovering a secret. It's about understanding why it might be kept hidden in the first place. Is it to protect something personal? To avoid unnecessary attention? Or to preserve a sense of normalcy in a world that rarely allows it? Whatever the reason, one thing is clear, The story isn't slowing down. If anything, it's becoming more intense with each passing day. New theories are emerging. Old clues are being re-examined. And fans are more determined than ever to find something, anything, that can bring clarity to a situation that feels increasingly complex. But perhaps the most intriguing part of all this isn't the clues themselves. It's the way people are reacting to them. Because this isn't just passive curiosity anymore. It's active engagement. A collective effort to solve a mystery that may not even have a clear solution. People are investing time, energy, and emotion into understanding what might be happening behind the scenes. And in doing so, they're becoming part of the story itself. Every theory shared. Every detail analyzed. Every discussion sparked, it all adds to the narrative, shaping the way this unfolding situation is perceived. And in a strange way, that makes the story even more powerful. Because it's no longer just about Zhao Lusi and Chen Zheyuan. It's about the experience of trying to uncover something hidden. The thrill of possibility. The tension of uncertainty. The excitement of not knowing what comes next. And right now, that excitement is at its peak. Because for all the clues, all the speculation, all the theories, there's still one thing missing. Proof. Real, undeniable, unmistakable proof that confirms what everyone is starting to believe. And until that moment comes, if it ever does, the mystery will continue to grow, evolve, and capture attention in ways that few stories ever manage to achieve. Because sometimes, the most fascinating stories aren't the ones that are clearly told. They're the ones that keep you guessing, questioning, and coming back for more, wondering if the next clue will finally reveal what's been hiding in plain sight all along.